cloud data migration project. Shivinder, welcome to the show. It's good to have you.
Hi, Sydney. Likewise, thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
We really appreciate it. Again, we love to get CSAs on who have done really interesting projects to talk about what you've done. And so I just want to kind of give you the floor. Let's talk a little bit about your project. Could you set the stage? Let us know a little bit, at a high level of what you did.
Sure. Thank you. So, I think one of the latest product developments which has happened in Azure Cloud has been the evolution of data warehouse, Azure data warehouse into the Synapse umbrella of services which we offer, right? So this is a product, which I think has a lot of potential and is gaining a lot of traction in the industry. And we were recently challenged with a customer over here, which happens to be a large CPG-based customer, and they have been running their data warehouse and their data estate essentially in Teradata for many years now. And if you think of it, the volume, the size of the data, and the entire data gravity associated with Teradata has been tremendous over there. This customer, over a period of time, they were running Teradata on premise, and then over the years, they evolved into cloud and migrated their Teradata appliances off to a third-party cloud with a semi SaaS model, if you would like to say that. Where essentially they do have access to the backend nodes themselves, but the service is entirely managed by a partner.
Sure.
So and they over a period of time they did that move from on-prem over to cloud, and they wanted to really be cloud native. That was the addressing one of the main objectives of how they turn their current environment into a totally PaaS-based cloud native, cloud-centric environment. They have been going through this challenge for quite a while. They tried it with some third-party clouds with limited or no success at all. And essentially, it was a point where they were stuck in a limbo and they did not really have a path forward which way to go. And then somewhere back in summer last year, our amazing account teams connected us with the customers and tried to see that how we can alleviate this problem and how we can essentially provide a way forward to them. So so that's when we got together with them and started to approach what their current landscape was, what they want to do, and where do they want to get there. That's where we brought Synapse into the picture. And when we started to do it as a pilot-based approach, given the success, whether the technology really holds its water or not. There's been a lot of talk about the features of Synapse, but we really wanted to break and core test the core functionality of Synapse, right? So essentially, when we start now, as I say, the devil is always in the details. So when we started to unpeel the layers of what we were trying to achieve with the pilot, it turns out we were dealing with close to about 40 terabytes of data just for the pilot, and we laid it down to two major applications, which were a representative set of their entire Teradata gamut.
Okay.
So these two applications, they were complex from their own perspectives. One was heavily code intensive, and the second application was heavy SLA bound with very deep integrations into third-party systems, right? So when we start, and if we could essentially convert these two applications, there's no doubt any Teradata system in the world which we cannot convert. So that was a challenge which was put over to us, and when you are dealing with this, a challenge of this magnitude, it essentially takes a village to build this kind of solution. And I'm glad we had our Microsoft PG, our amazing CSC team, CSAs, and even the partner for that matter, who really contributed a lot. And in addition, the customer would throw in a curveball every now and often. Okay, now we have a geospatial requirement, which is an essential requirement, which needs to be, which is a success criteria factor for the pilot to be successful. And at this time, Synapse does not really have a geospatial feature around. It was a success feature needed for the customer to be successful. We implemented that as well within the Azure set of services. And at the end of the day, when we got done with the pilot and the leadership readout, we either met or exceeded the SLAs which Teradata had been providing. Now remember, Teradata has been a fine-tuned system over the last 10 to 15 years. When we got into building and starting to put the SLAs around Synapse, I think we only had a period of about 2 to 3 months to entirely tune it, and we still managed to get it at a stage where we either exceeded or met the SLAs. And in the words of the CIO of the company, she said, we have been essentially stuck with this project, and there was really not a path forward for us until Microsoft came, and within 3 months we were able to give them a path forward and set them onto their next phase of migration, which is essentially getting the production workloads over to Synapse.
So the success story to me sounds amazing, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about curveballs. Was this the type of thing where you could do mostly native migration tools was pretty frictionless, or was there a manual scripting automation involved? Did you run into those type of curveballs, and how did you handle those?
Absolutely. So remember, Teradata has a lot of native functionality built into it also, right? Within Microsoft Soft, we have an amazing tool which has been developed by Matt Asher, Trador. It is internal to Microsoft right now. We used the Trador tool immensely to get past us to the schema conversion phase and convert the DDLs over from Teradata schema perspective over to Synapse. But when we got to the actual BTEC conversion of the code, that was about 1,000 plus scripts which we had to do, for the pilot to be successful. That's where we had to rely partly on the conversion tool and majorly on some of the of in-house code development to match the features which are essentially very specific to Teradata, but currently not available in Synapse or being done in Synapse with a different way. So it was a combination, I would say about 40 to 50% conversion with the tool, the remaining essentially done by hand. And essentially what we decided to do early in the project was to build a factory model out. So if you have a certain specific set of features which are not Synapse compatible, have a design around them, and then wash and rinse and replicate the same. So that once you have the practices established, you can essentially outsource that and have the code conversion done at scale.
So you're just talking at length about the flexibility of Synapse, the ability to do things natively, the ability to script and automate against the engine. So just building on that theme, now that things are in Synapse for this organization, what do you think the next steps are? What can they do now that they've done the hard work of moving to Synapse and take advantage of this platform moving forward?
So actually, I think the hard work really starts now. I think the hard work and the fun work starts now that we have proven the technology. The customer has made a commitment that okay, this will be their strategic tool of choice to move forward to the front. We are working hand in hand with the partners right now to scale the partners up to be able to deliver this kind of a conversion within an agile and a time-sensitive manner. But at the same time, there have been a lot of learnings which have come out of this project for us as well as for the project, for the product group. One of the key learnings, essentially is that it's a mindset with which operations have been running on Teradata for the past so many years or decades. So they have been used to run their Teradata operations in a certain way where they are essentially they have a log-based monitoring, and they have direct access to the backend servers to do the troubleshooting. Now the operations are managed by a different team. Now all of a sudden, if you change the database under the hood to a PaaS-based platform where you don't really have, you have to rely on a different set of tools and utilities to do your monitoring. That is a slight challenge, which any conversion you would run into if you're converting from a native on-premise application to a cloud native application. So I think those are some of the challenges which we see we'll be addressing over the next few months.
Well, Shivinder, thank you so much for coming on. This was very enlightening, a very exciting project that you shared with us. Everyone who's watching, we're going to continue to bring you cloud solution architects who are doing amazing projects out there, building great things. If you got questions for us, always reach out to us at msusdev@microsoft.com. If we can't get you the answer right away, we'll find you the person who can get you the answer. Shivinder, thank you again for coming on. And this would definitely sound like an exciting project. Sounds like a great use case for Synapse.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure.
All right. We'll see you all next time.